It's 4:12 in the morning, New York City. People love to call this the city that never sleeps, but honestly, that's not a compliment. It's a diagnosis. I'm standing here on the 45th floor, looking down at the traffic. It looks like a slow-moving river of fire. Everything is glowing, everything is moving, and yet, I feel like I'm drowning in a shallow pool. I'm sitting on a $12,000 sofa. I'm staring at a view that costs more than most people make in a lifetime. And for what? In America, we're taught a very specific kind of math. Success equals addition, more zeros in the bank, more square footage in the house, more stuff. But no one ever warns you about the subtraction happening in the background. To get that $1 million bonus, I didn't just trade my time, I traded my internal space. There's a term we use in high finance, the Golden Handcuffs. It's the logic that says, I hate this job, but I need the money to pay for the house that I'm never in. It's a cycle of madness. We treat our bank accounts like they have no limit, but we treat our own minds like they're indestructible. I spent $30 on a self-improvement book to tell me how to be happy, while I was making $5,000 an hour doing things that made me miserable. Think about that logic for a second. I had reached the absolute peak of consumption, and all I found there was noise, a constant digital hum telling me I wasn't doing enough, that I wasn't optimized enough. People think the opposite of poverty is wealth, but after a decade on Wall Street, I've realized the truth. The opposite of poverty isn't money, it's space. The space to breathe without a deadline, the space to just sit in a room and not feel like you're failing. I turned off the lamp, and in that sudden darkness, the $1 million view simply disappeared. I didn't feel like a success anymore. I felt like a man who had spent his whole life building a prison, brick by expensive brick. I didn't need another million. I needed the courage to be nothing again. It started with a box, one single cardboard box. Liquidating a life isn't just about selling furniture. It's about murdering an ego. In Manhattan, your identity is your zip code and the brand of your watch. So when I started listing my things on luxury resale sites, the world didn't applaud. It got uncomfortable. My friends, or the people I called friends, didn't ask if I was finding peace. They asked if I was having a mental breakdown. Alex, you're 32. You're at the top. Why are you acting like a failure? Think about that for a second. In our modern world, choosing to have less is seen as a symptom of losing it. We've reached a point where living with enough is considered a crisis. Clack. That was the sound of my key card hitting the mahogany desk for the last time. I sold the Porsche. I sold the Italian sofa. I even sold the self-improvement books that I never actually read. Each time an item left my apartment, I expected to feel a sense of loss, but instead, I felt like I was finally catching my breath. There's a specific kind of American anxiety called the hedonic treadmill. You run and you run and you buy and you buy just to stay in the same place. We are terrified of the silence that comes when the treadmill stops, because in that silence, you have to face yourself. One night, after the movers had cleared out 80% of the penthouse, I sat on the hardwood floor. No TV, no sound system, just me. The room was echoing, and for the first time in 10 years, the echo didn't scare me. I realized that my things weren't just objects, they were anchors. Each one was a tiny weight pulling me down into a life I didn't want. My boss called me on my final day. He said, "You're throwing away $1 million future for a ghost story." I told him, "No, I'm throwing away $1 million ghost so I can finally have a future." I walked out of that building with nothing but a backpack and a sense of clarity that no bonus check could ever buy. I wasn't looking for a new career. I was looking for a new way to exist. I drove 3 hours north, away from the steel, away from the ego. I found a small cabin. It's nothing special, just wood, glass, and the smell of pine. There is no high-speed internet here. There are no smart lights that turn on when I speak. There is just the sun, and when it goes down, there is only the dark. I walked into the bedroom. It's small, maybe 10 feet by 10 feet. In Manhattan, I would have called this a closet. Here, I call it a sanctuary. I sat on the edge of the bed. It's a simple mattress, no cooling gel technology, no voice-activated adjustments, just a place to lie down. And then it happened. The silence. It wasn't the silence of an empty room. It was the silence of a mind that finally had nothing to calculate. Think about this. In the US, the sleep aid industry is worth over $30 billion. We buy pills, we buy expensive pillows, we buy white noise machines to drown out the red noise of our lives. But we're missing the point. You can't buy sleep, because sleep is an act of surrender, and you can't surrender when you're still trying to win. People told me I was crazy to walk away from $1 million career. They said I was throwing away my future. But as I lay there, looking out the window at the stars, actual stars, not the lights of an office building, I realized something. Those people, they aren't successful. They are just high-level subscribers to a life they can't actually afford to enjoy. Here is the logic no one wants to hear. Real wealth is the ability to walk away from anything that costs you your peace. I closed my eyes. No Bloomberg alerts, no urgent emails from bosses who don't know my middle name, no crushing weight of more. The radiator didn't hiss, the city didn't scream. For the first time in 10 years, my breath was my own, my time was my own. I didn't lose $1 million that day. I bought back the next 40 years of my life. And then I slept. The story of Alex isn't just about a guy from Wall Street. It's a mirror. Every time we buy something we don't need to impress people we don't like, we are building that same prison. So, I have a question for you. If you lost everything you own tomorrow, who would you be? And more importantly, would that person finally be able to sleep? Think about it. If you're tired of the noise and you're looking for a way back to what actually matters, then stay a while. Join us at the Minimal Base. We don't have all the answers, but we do have the silence. Subscribe, and let's find our space together. Until next time, breathe easy.